You'll be making a grave error if you kill us. There are 250,000 Italians in Britain, and they'll be made to suffer. Every restaurant, cafe, ice cream parlour, gambling den and nightclub in London, Liverpool and Glasgow will be smashed.
He blew the bloody doors off, stole the gold, and sped off in a red Mini Cooper. But behind Michael Caine's coolest role was a production that nearly drove him mad. The Italian Job may be remembered as a cheeky, turbocharged classic packed with charm and swagger, but for Caine it was anything but fun. He has since admitted he hated filming it. The iconic 1969 heist flick, set against the backdrop of Mafia-controlled Turin and packed with death-defying stunts, was plagued by chaos from start to finish. And to top it off, Caine didn't even know how to drive. The unlikely action star who couldn't drive.
When I was at school, when I was a little boy, they used to call me Snake Eyes because I have very heavy-lidded eyes. And I wanted to be a movie actor, and I'd read that you shouldn't blink. So it was rather disconcerting. I used to look at everybody, and I'd never blink. And they called me Snake Eyes, and they were quite afraid of me, which was great because I'm physical cowards.
By the time The Italian Job hit screens in 1969, Michael Caine had already made a name for himself in dramatic roles in Zulu and Alfie. But what made his turn as Charlie Croker so memorable was the smooth confidence he exuded during the elaborate heist, and most famously, behind the wheel. Yet there was one small problem. Caine didn't know how to drive. In what must be one of the great ironies of film history, the man who led a high-speed gold heist through the streets of Turin was a passenger in real life. Quote, "I couldn't drive a car when we did it," he confessed in interviews years later. "They had to use camera tricks. All the driving scenes were set up so I didn't have to do anything." Caine relied on professional stunt drivers and practical effects to pull off the illusion. The production had secured large areas of the city that were closed to ordinary traffic, allowing the minis to maneuver freely without endangering anyone. In some cases, Caine simply sat behind the wheel while the car was pulled on a trailer. Quote, "You're talking about one of the most memorable car chases ever," Caine remarked, "and I wasn't even the one driving." The irony wasn't lost on the actor. Despite being the face of the operation, he credited the real stars of the film as the red, white, and blue Mini Coopers. Quote, "We just used Minis because it was a new car out, and it became a worldwide success," he later said. The Minis not only stole the show, but they also saved the film from being abandoned when British car manufacturers refused to sponsor the production. Fiat, Italy's pride and joy, had offered to donate their 500 models in bulk, but the producers stuck to their original vision of British charm, with a twist of mechanical rebellion. Caine's driving experience wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a source of personal embarrassment. For a working-class lad from South London, suddenly thrust into the role of a criminal mastermind orchestrating an international gold heist, being unable to legally operate a car added a layer of surreal comedy. Quote, "I'd played gangsters, soldiers, spies, but a wheelman? That was pushing it," he later joked. Mafia roads and midnight stunts. Filming in Italy wasn't quite the dolce vita experience the cast may have hoped for. The Italian Job was shot on location in Turin, a city not particularly thrilled to have its streets overrun by a British film crew. Getting permission to close down roads for filming was next to impossible, at least through official channels. That's where a few unsavory connections stepped in to lend a hand. According to production lore, it was Fiat's own executive contacts, allegedly with Mafia ties, who, quote, persuaded local authorities and citizens to stay clear of the shoot. Some say entire neighborhoods were shut down overnight without warning, leaving real drivers stranded in gridlock. Their frustrated expressions in the background of chase scenes, not acting. In one case, a chaotic traffic jam featured in the film wasn't staged at all. The production crew simply filmed real drivers reacting to the lockdown. Director Peter Collinson and his team made the most of the situation, capturing genuine Italian road rage and using it to give the movie an added sense of chaos and realism. While the British side of the crew was used to red tape and regulations, Turin operated on a more, shall we say, flexible schedule. Even more dangerous than the traffic were the stunts themselves. In an age before CGI and green screens, every jaw-dropping maneuver had to be pulled off live and with real cars. One of the most perilous involved a 78-foot jump from rooftop to rooftop. So risky was this stunt that several crew members reportedly left the set out of fear that someone would be killed. And while stunt coordinator Remy Julien pushed for an ambitious 360-degree barrel roll inside a sewer pipe, the stunt failed after 3 damaging attempts. Adding to the tension was the fact that some locations were far removed from the Italian landscape audiences were promised. The famous sewer scenes, not Turin, they were filmed in Coventry, England, with a specially rigged mini moke used to carry the camera. Despite all this trickery, the result was seamless, with audiences believing they were witnessing a manic chase through Europe's grimiest underground tunnels. Behind the scenes, however, the mood was often tense. Between midnight shoots, mechanical failures, and pressure from producers, Michael Caine was frequently left wondering whether the film was worth the trouble. Quote, "It looked like fun," he later said, "but it was hellish to make." A movie saved by minis and music. Despite the chaos, there were some surprising sources of levity during the shoot, namely the minis themselves. With their lightweight frames, tight turning radius, and rebellious aesthetic, the Mini Coopers became characters in their own right. Their customized number plates even contained in-jokes for the cast and crew. The red Mini bore the license HMP 729G, a nod to Charlie Croker's prison stint. The white Mini's GPF 146G referenced a racing flag, and the blue Mini's LGW 809G hinted at the London Gatwick flight that might have whisked the crew to safety had things gone according to plan. Though the cars stole scenes, they also made filming harder. The British Motor Corporation initially refused to donate those vehicles, forcing production to buy and customize Minis on their own dime. Fiat offered not just cars, but full factory support if the crew would switch to the Fiat 500. It was a tempting offer, especially as Fiat even helped coordinate the citywide disruptions that made filming possible. Yet, sticking with the Minis gave the film its British identity and helped cement the car's place in pop culture history. Another iconic element was the soundtrack. The film's anthem, Get a Bloomin' Move On, also called The Self-Preservation Society, was sung by the cast, including Michael Caine himself. While Caine wasn't known for his singing chops, the raucous, irreverent energy of the song matched the film's offbeat tone. The tune became synonymous with British chic, and the chorus is still hummed by fans today. Caine's delivery of the film's most memorable line, "You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off," was also a spur-of-the-moment improvisation. The phrase later was voted the greatest movie line in British film history, beating out dialogue from Lawrence of Arabia, Trainspotting, and even Shakespearean adaptations. It's ironic, considering Caine later admitted he barely remembered saying it on set. But all this success masked how grueling the shoot had been. Caine later described production as one of the most stressful he'd ever worked on.
I don't think it was any good.
From Zulu to Charlie Croker.
Well, Zulu was okay, but the trouble was it was about it wasn't much of a success in America because it was about the wars, the colonial wars, the British Army and the Zulus, you know. And there's a lot of time it was black and white people slaughtering each other. Yeah. And by the time it got to America, nobody really wanted to know anything. It wasn't a great idea.
Michael Caine's turn in The Italian Job wasn't just a stylish performance, it was a turning point in his career. Before the film, he was better known for dramatic roles that required emotional depth and gravitas. But Charlie Croker was different. He was a rogue, a schemer, and most importantly, a man in motion. The success of the film showed Caine could do more than just emote, he could lead an action film. It's no coincidence that after The Italian Job, he starred in much grittier fare like Get Carter, a grim revenge drama that cemented his place in British noir canon. The film that almost wasn't.
Go! You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
In hindsight, it's amazing The Italian Job got made at all. From the refusal of British car companies to back the project, to the logistical headaches of filming in a foreign country, to the physical risk endured by the cast and crew, the production faced constant hurdles. Even the ending, a literal cliffhanger, was a gamble. Quote, "It wasn't supposed to end like that," Caine revealed in interviews. "They ran out of money, so they just left it on a cliff." Now it's time to hear from you. Did knowing Michael Caine couldn't drive change how you see his performance? Let us know in the comments section below.